Hello Virgo friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Virgo June 2024 astrology horoscope forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month, the right place, the right time. Are you ready? So we'll talk about what that means and how you can make the most of the possibilities this month. This is for you if Virgo is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Virgo placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Virgo friends, so birthdays like September 15th through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Libra report because your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Okay, so there are infinite possibilities of what we could talk about this month. My goal is to give you the ones that are most important for you to have the best month possible and to feel like you're in the driver's seat of your life. We can co-create with the universe. There are certain things that are completely out of our hands. But if we know what's going on beforehand and we know how to actively use the potentials, then we can create along the lines of the tributaries that spirit is leading us towards whatever it is that we're supposed to be experiencing. So that's what I want to help with. And this month happens to be one that can put you in the right place at the right time. So this is really a measure of beautiful synchronicity, which is exactly like, wow, I happen to be here. And this happened to be the exact place I needed to be. So what you'll require then is your readiness and your clarity about what you want and what you're going to do with what comes, okay? One of the reasons why we've got the right place and the right time at work is because between the middle of May and the middle of July, like around May 14th or around July 16th, we're free from personal planet retrogrades. So this makes it so that when opportunities come, you actually can do something with it without having to worry about the retrograde with the contracts, without having to worry about, oh, it's short-term energy, without having to worry about the shroud of the cloud of Mercury retrograde or something like that where you're not seeing everything. You don't have to worry about any of that. So that means you've got the right time to make the decision to take the action that you need to perpetuate something for a very long time. And this transit that we have on June 2nd, I'm actually just going to jump to that first while we're on the topic of this. From May 19th through around June 20th, and it will be in effect before May 19th and after June 20th, but it'll be really strong, actually occurs on June 2nd. We've got Jupiter and Gemini trine Pluto in Aquarius. It's rare that outer planets get together in a configuration because they move very slowly. And when they do, they're in effect for a long time. This isn't like a normal aspect that we talk about where it's like, oh, it's a few days or a week. You have to, be aware of that. This is like, whoop, it's at least a month. It's like it's a very, very big thing. So anything that you do during this time, the second half of May, and really all of June, especially the first 3 weeks, are going to be flavored by this aspect, which means that any important things you take on will weave in this aspect into the birth chart of the project. Because whenever you do something important, that day and time that it happens becomes a birth chart that will have part say in what manifests for the rest of the time for that venture. So it's a really big deal. We do have a dicey aspect June 11th, so even though this will be in effect all month, that is just something to remember about. We'll get back to that, but yeah, this is a really big deal. So Jupiter, the great expander, and Gemini, the great communicator, Pluto, the great transformer, and Aquarius, the bringer of the future, all coming together in a sweet configuration. So it's really, you can do anything with this. This can have to do with broadening your horizons, bringing something out as far and wide as possible, going deep and then going wide, because Pluto rules ultimate depth. It rules everything under the earth and mining. Jupiter rules ultimate breadth. So you've got the ultimate depth and the ultimate breadth woven into this aspect, and this could be the right time to do something. So let's talk more about what the possibilities are that may come in for you to be in the right place at the right time. The first thing is that Jupiter is in your 10th house. This is happening from May 2024 through June 2025. I do have a separate report on Jupiter in Gemini for all signs, and then I have one for Jupiter in Gemini specifically for Virgo. Okay, so you can find that on my YouTube channel. You can scroll through my podcast list if you're on the podcast. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com/astrology and look through the players that I have on the page, and you can find all of it. Or just go to my channel. But we'll talk about a little bit here because this is one of the big things that will offer possibilities, because Jupiter in Gemini brings this to your 10th house. Your 10th house is work and career and employment, but if you are not into work or career or employment, this is your place out in the world. Okay, so if you're retired, if you don't need to make money, if your money stuff is set and you don't care, these are things that it's just your thing that you're doing out in the world. It can be a passion project. It can be a volunteer thing. It can be a fun thing, you know, and Jupiter wants to expand it, and Jupiter wants to add diversity to anything that's there. And Gemini is all about diversity, okay? So you've got Jupiter, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and the new moon, all in Gemini, all lighting up your house of work and career and employment and father figures and authority figures and you as an authority figure and your fame. Actually, we don't talk about this very often, but the 10th house is the house of fame. And it's kind of weird too, because I remember when Bridget, my teacher, who became my teacher, she's my friend, became my astrology teacher, she said, you have to do astrology. And I was like, no, I don't want to do astrology. She's like, too bad. I looked at your chart. You're going to do astrology. And she said, actually, not only are you going to do astrology, she told me this 20 years ago, by the way. I mean, I was still like running charts manually at this point. I didn't even have software. So she looked at my chart and she said, she looked at things in my 10th house that are natal. And she said, not only are you going to be an astrologer, you're going to be a famous astrologer, and you're going to work with celebrities, and you're going to like have all of this stuff, and everyone's going to know you all over the world. And I was like, huh, okay, that will be interesting. Now, of course, think back to this time 20 years ago. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have like any of the stuff that can make it easier for somebody to be known internationally, right? But yet she saw in my chart that was going to happen. Now, obviously, Bridget is very intuitive, but part of what she was looking at was 10th house stuff and aspects that I have for my 10th house. And that's what you have now. So this is actually, for those of you who are interested in fame, I wasn't interested in fame. It came to me and, you know, now whatever, I have to deal with it. But if you're a person that's interested in fame, there's so much potential for you to get known for your work. And if you don't care about the fame, but you really just want the recognition, that can also come. So the new moon is on the 6th, the days around there, amazing seed planting time. We already talked about the 2nd. If you have to do something for a future work project, if you have to put a resume in, if you have to put a proposal in, if you want to ask for a raise, if you want to start a business, you know, anything that, or if you just want to leave a legacy by doing something that has nothing to do with you earning money, but this is your thing out in the world. You know, you could create something that becomes known and helps many, many, many people and has nothing to do with money. Yeah, so if you're not looking for fame, you also may find it too. And, you know, you'll just have to deal with it if that happens. But, you know, this is a really big time. And in the short term, it's happening, and then Jupiter takes it into the long term. Now, this is all happening in a square to Virgo, which shows us that there may be some challenges in you accepting what goes on. And in general, all the Virgos that I know are very humble people. And although, you know, they like to be recognized if they're working hard and helping somebody, it's not your main intention for it. You know, it's the work is more important than what comes to you from it with many of the Virgos that I know. And unless you have other aspects that make you more interested in being seen, and, you know, which is fine. I have no judgment on any of it. This is just a tendency that I tend to see. So you might have people, you know, recognizing you or saying something or thanking you, and it might be a little bit awkward for you. That could be how the square manifests. Sometimes when I say that there's a square or a challenged angle, people say, oh, it's going to be bad and I'm scared and it's terrible and now I'm worried. Squares are not always terrible. They really aren't. They're just something that, you know, sometimes can make us a little bit uncomfortable. Or maybe, let's say you get your dream job, but now you actually have to like get in there and show up and gather the gumption to do it. So it can manifest that way too. Okay, so we still have Mars in Aries for a little longer, and then it's going to go into Taurus, which is going to light up your 9th house. You've just had a lot of energy in your 9th house, so in May we spoke about this, and you still will have some more energy here. So I'm going to mention it because it's important. Mars is, I call him the border collie of the zodiac. So wherever Mars is, we're like, whoa, we're really focused on that. Okay, so border collies, my dog, she likes to play with pine needles. She'll bring a pine needle and she'll stare at you and stare at the pine needle, and it's all about the pine needle, right? It's very obsessive. So wherever Mars is in the chart, that's where you become like really obsessed. It's like, whew. Mars is a cardinal, or rules Aries, which is a cardinal sign, which is unidirectional. So you may notice that in the 9th house areas, you are unidirectional. These areas include spirituality, religion. They include just belief systems in general. They include teaching and learning and long distance travel, different countries, different cultures, and international business. So we've already said you have a lot of business stuff going on. If you want international business, now you have a friend helping you to do that too. Mars will be there and will give you a lot of extra focus. If you've been wanting to take a course, this could be a perfect month. It's a great time for commitments to course programs. The Gemini energy will make you want to learn voraciously. The Mars energy will make you really curious, and in Sagittarius will make you want, both the Sag and the Gemini energies make you want to get your fingers in a lot of pudding pies. So you may experience a lot of like, I want this and I want to do this. I want to take this little class and I want to learn about this and, go on a library bender and get out a whole bunch of books. The other day I went to the library and there was somebody returning a book ahead of me in the little line in the car, and she got out and she put her book in there, and then I was like waiting. So that's it. Oh wow, she took out one book and she put it back. I'm a Sagittarius. I never take out one book, okay? So this is kind of like, I always have like 800 books. I mean, when my kids were little, I would have the whole bottom of the stroller full of books. And now I don't think we ever leave the library with less than 80 books. But in any case, that's what this is going to be like for you, is that the Gemini energy, the Sagittarius energy, it's like, oh, I'm so excited about this and this and this, and I want to get all this about this and this and this. So, it's just a really fun, exciting time. It's a time where you might be engaged and not bored, which is cool because anything with the mundane experience and things you're doing every day, you might be like, oh gosh, I'm so sick of this just normal stuff and I want some exciting stuff and expansive stuff. And so this time can definitely bring that, can definitely bring you things that you're really excited about, and can bring you things that you really, really enjoy and that are really, really relaxing and make you feel really good. And it's also very optimistic. So that's exciting too. Okay, and so when Mars is doing its thing, as we've been talking about, it will also be making a trine for your placement. So any of the actions, it is just so nice, back to the right place in the right time here. It's so nice because Mars will make you want to take action. Mars trining your placement can give you more opportunities for action and make you feel ready to do what you have to do. And then moving through the house of Sagittarius can give you optimism and hope and faith about what it is that you're doing. So it's really great. All right, so I told you the new moon was on the 6th. The full moon is in Capricorn on the 21st. So the days are on the 21st. We've got fullness, completion, fruition, possibly drama. This date is important because if you want to do something important, that could be another touch point for you bringing out your work, because it does represent something coming in from the dark, being elucidated. And if you put something for your work or your career or your employment out there, I told you there are nice touch spots in the beginning of the month. Now here's another spot on the 21st. Both of these are avoiding, that 11th thing that we still have to get to. But this Capricorn point can be really, a really, really notable time to do something very important. Okay, and that's going to happen in your 5th house. So not only can the Cap things be brought to life and, brought to light, also the 5th house of Leo can be brought. And Leo is ruled by the sun, and Leo means children and creativity and fun and romance and your bucket list and things that are hobbies and pleasures. So you may do something you've been wanting to do for a really long time at this time. And it could be very, very, very exciting. So I love that. All right, so I guess I don't want to say I've been avoiding it. I haven't. It just hasn't been in the flow. But now we're going to get to the aspect that we need to know about. It is a little bit of a hide under a rock aspect, but what are you going to do? June 11th, we've got Mars in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Mars, the god of war. Pluto, the god of death, birth, transformation, rebirth, coming into a tough aspect. Blow-ups, exaggerated and dangerous responses, violence, ego struggles, power struggles, anything like that. People who are normally calm can be getting very unstable. People who are unstable already can become unhinged. If you have something that you've been avoiding dealing with, it may erupt like a volcano, and it's, just a touchy time. So the days are on June 11th. We'll give it at least a week before and after, June 4th through June 16th or whatever, 17th, 18th, something like that. But the closest to the 11th is when it will be most powerful. You may see manifestations before and after. but this is just a current that's happening. So just be extra careful. It's not a time to honk at a reckless driver or tell off someone who can change your fate in some way. Definitely. One thing it is good for, and this is something that I always like to do, I'm not sugarcoating it. I told you it's a very good chance it can be nasty, and you definitely have to be careful. But I do like to frame things in a way where we can feel more empowered in, moving through this time, navigating through this time confidently. So you can use this to delve into any anger issues that you have, or any trauma that you have, or something where you go deep and you need to kind of get emotions out that have been repressed. This is a fantastic time to do that, especially with a qualified practitioner that can support you through whatever may come up, because sometimes it gets unmanageable when you actually let it out. So you could use this actively for that. But overall, as I've showed you, a lot to be excited about this month, and there are just so many touch points of possibilities for you to be in the right place at the right time. And so your thing you have to determine is, are you ready, and are you going to look for the possibilities and the opportunities when they arise, so that you can take quick action on them and enjoy the forward moving stars to briskly take advantage of whatever comes your way. We've covered a lot about what's going on right now and in the upcoming times astrologically, but if you want even more free stuff from me, go to anniehelpsyou.com. That is my interface for all of my free goodies. And if you want to learn astrology, click on the up level button and you can find my astrology certification course. Even if you want to learn for your own personal purposes or to help your family and friends, I can help you to do that. If you want to earn money as an astrologer, I can help you to do that. Of course, like any other education, what you do with what I teach you is up to you, but I've had many people start earning money for doing astrology within even months of doing this course. And it's very rare that you can get trained in a vocation that literally you can pay your tuition off in 12 hours of work once you're trained. So it's a really, really wonderful course, and it just keeps growing. It has over 100 modules. It's very, very comprehensive, and you get lifetime access. If you want to access my secret star portal, you can click on the upgrade button at anniehelpsyou.com. You'll get all of my content very early. Plus, you'll get my written horoscopes early, plus a lot of other info. And if you haven't joined my free VIP community, you can click on the Unleash, or you can just put your name and email address there at anniehelpsyou.com. And you can sign up and get my sweet and salty dates right up 1 month early with lots of transits and other things for you to know. You can get my free goodies, a relax, unwind, and let go subliminal to help you stay calm during tough astrological transits. You can get my 28-day virtual coaching program for free. And I've also made a player page at anniehelpsyou.com/astrology, where you can see all of my podcasts and the playlists and my YouTube playlist all in one place that's constantly updated. If there is something that's time-stamped, the timestamp will be somewhere around. In eclipse seasons, you can click on the eclipse playlist and it will be always updated for which videos for you to watch to get you up to speed on how the eclipses may affect you, or just to understand what's going on even when we're out of eclipse season. So you can go to anniehelpsyou.com/astrology for one easy location for all of my content. I hope you have a wonderful time until I am with you again. Bye. Oh, and one last thing. If you're subscribed on YouTube, make sure you click the bell and subscribe to whatever podcast report, because I do post fairly regularly, and I've been told that if you subscribe on YouTube and you do not click the bell, you won't get my notifications and my very frequent posts. So make sure, if you're subscribed, click the bell. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, like, share, all of that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.